everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Between Sermons, where we get to continue our conversation from Sunday. This is kind of like a glimpse into like what would happen in a small group. We're going to take the Sunday sermon and kind of apply it to our lives a little bit deeper, discuss things a little bit more, personally. But in order to do that, in order to continue this conversation, I need people to talk to. And so Taisha helps me with that because I have a hard time talking with people.
Yeah.
So you're the help.
I don't think you have a hard time. I always say you could run this show by yourself. And you did
just
before.
Talk to myself.
You could talk. You did. You do it all the time.
Yeah, I feel
talk
like
too
at
much?
this point,
that's all I'm hearing right now.
How long has the podcast been going? So I don't know. At some point, you can still say I have a hard time talking to people.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No.
Some things don't get any easier. Some things are just it's just the reality.
How do you know I don't have a hard time talking to people?
Because you never stop talking.
Okay, anyway.
I mean, to people.
Okay, let's introduce our fabulous guest.
Like, I feel like the last time I was on here, it went that way, and you felt away. So I'm not gonna add on to it. No, not this time.
Oh, because you want to say I talk.
Well, we tell people we tell people that, like, this is a glimpse of like a small group. How would a small group function? Talking about the Sunday service, and if you're not ribbing at each other like a little bit, are you really friends?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, there should be a microphone in my actual small group that I do on Wednesdays. Like that group, we say some wild things. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. I think all small groups should have that element.
Yeah,
I don't think
agree.
I would want to be a part of a small group that was like stiff and stuffy.
Absolutely
I don't know if I
not.
would want to be a part of a church that was
stiff and stuffy.
Yeah, stiff and stuffy. So, well, let's welcome our special guest, Tiff Hines. You are no stranger.
Hello. Hi.
He said, "Hi, Tiff."
Not supposed to say hi.
That reminded me of Sesame Street for like 2 minutes.
How?
Well, that's Carlton. We get Carlton on, then you'll get all the Sesame Street.
I don't know. It was just like, "Hi, Tiff." Like, it's just the young Brent came out. But no, we have the joy of the Lord.
It's amazing
here.
that people listen to this show.
Because
it really is. It's a miracle.
And they enjoy it. Right, guys? You enjoy Between Sermons. And we are so grateful that you rock with us. But yeah, so today we are continuing the conversation about our mission series. It has been incredible. What's been your thoughts so far, Tiff, about what we've been talking about over the last 3 weeks?
So, part of it, I was on a mission trip in Kenya.
Okay.
So I can speak just really strongly to yesterday with Lilyfield, and that was incredible on so many levels, but I know we're going to get into it more. But I think conversations and messages about missions, it can either penetrate or people could just be like, oh, okay, that was cute kind of thing. But I felt like yesterday was like a transition spiritually that happened. So that was my experience yesterday. It challenged a lot. Man.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Like, I think for a lot of people though, like when they don't have the heart for missions yet, it's easy to kind of zone out or tune out during this series because we do this every year really. Where we make an emphasis on what's God doing in the nations and how are we a part of it, and promote our trips and highlight our partners and all that. And it is, we keep it short. It's only 3 weeks. Like, this is the last week of it, but we do see a lot of people that are like, well, I'm not going on a trip, so this isn't for me. I think yesterday just slapped those people in the face in like the nicest way. Like, literally one of the guys came out of the service, he's like, man, I feel like I just got kicked in the head. And I was like, but it felt good, didn't he? He's like, yeah, I want to do it again.
Oh, gosh.
I was like,
back
all
for
right.
the next service.
Wow. Man, I would love to just start, I guess, with your perspective on yesterday's message. We had a guest speaker in the house and she was amazing.
Yes.
Lily Fields is a missionary and she just really travels the world spreading the gospel, talking about the gospel. And so I would say we can find that on YouTube. you just won't.
Yeah, so it was the awkwardness of yesterday. So for safety reasons, we can't show her face on the internet, which is kind of funny because when we first booked her to come, your team was looking for pictures of her so that we could promote, and you're like, I can't find this woman anywhere.
Anywhere.
And it's like, oh, that's intentional. Like you're not supposed to find her.
Yes.
And so I want to clarify because we'd had some people that were like, wait, but we're going on a mission trip with the lady.
Are we safe?
Like, are we okay? And it's
I didn't think about that part.
So,
Yes.
like, yes, like we're going with her to England, to the UK, and it's safe. It's just she does other work in other places and people that she works with. So like members of her team would become unsafe because by relation, if you find out who she is, you find out who they are. And it's just a whole mess. And we actually, what's interesting is we don't talk about this a lot, but we have several missions partners that fall into that space.
Wow.
Like some of our partners with Elam, some of our indie evangelical team members, like we have to be really cautious with that. Even a few people that are working in Israel right now, there's like safety concerns for publicity. And so it's kind of cool that as a church, and people are going to judge me for that, it's cool that we work with people that are in danger. But it kind of is. Like these are people who are literally putting their life on the line for the gospel.
Yeah.
And we get to be a part of their ministry and a part of their lives. And so I think it's a privilege. It's an honor.
No,
so,
it is.
Yeah, so Lily falls
sure,
in that category.
Yeah. It makes it that whole piece of like really like sacrifice and submitting your life, like really doing it for the gospel, because we get so comfortable with Americanized Christianity. Like, let's just keep it. And I feel like that's one thing she attacked head on in her message yesterday was like that American mission perspective, like what we might think missions is here in America. But give us your thoughts on that. Set the tone.
So I love the message. I do think that you should listen to it. I would say watch it, but you're just going to see a graphic.
It's like a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Like a podcast.
Listen to her message. And honestly, because she said some things so beautifully, and it's things that I believe, but I don't know how I could articulate it the way she was able to articulate it. There's something special about her and being able to utilize her own personal testimony within this conversation. And so it was one of those where, we could be saying all the same things, but it feels different. It hits different coming from Lily. And so highly just recommend everybody, like if you're listening to this podcast, but you didn't hear that message, I would even go so far as to say, just go ahead and pause this.
Absolutely.
Go listen to that, and then maybe come back and listen to us too. But that's what you need to hear. Is her testimony and her just delivery of the focus of missions. And so it's one of those cool things that like we've talked about before. Like I've even used the phrase that like if we give people humanitarian aid but we don't give them Jesus, then we just let them go to hell with a full stomach. Like that can't be our mission. But she got up there and she said it in such a more powerful way even than what we've done in the past. So for me, it was almost like she was just a reframing of what we believe for missions and what we do with missions, that the priority is God. Like we're doing this for him, not for ourselves, not for others. And it really is about the gospel. That was kind of the premise of her message, is that we kind of sometimes make missions feel like it's the thing that wealthy people do for poor people in poor places. That's missions. And there is a lot of humanitarian aid wrapped into missions, which is a byproduct of Christianity. Like we are Christians, so we do good. Jesus went about, the Bible says Jesus went about doing good. And so as his disciples, we want to go about doing good. And so, we're going to build wells, and we're going to bring food, and we're going to bring clothes, and we're going to do those things. But at its core, what missions is actually is people who know Jesus telling people who don't know Jesus about Jesus. And so that, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, if you're in a good country or a bad country, if you're in first world or third world or somewhere in between. Like it really doesn't matter. Like you need to take the gospel to wealthy people living great lives, but if they don't know Jesus, they're still going to hell. And so like that was that almost that reframing. Like so we want to go to places and we want to do good. We're still going to partner with organizations that are there to do good, because the quote that I use sometimes is, it's really hard to hear the gospel over the sound of a grumbling stomach. And so like, yeah, we need to meet some of these material needs for people. But if that becomes the only people we try and get the gospel to, it's like, what are we doing? Are we basically just telling the world like it's okay for you to go to hell if you're wealthy?
Yeah.
Like what?
Whoa.
That's messed up.
That's so true.
So it was just a beautiful reframing, and she used our series to tie it all together. So so our series is For the One, and she's like, well, let's start with it's for the one God, and then she built it from there. The next one is us personally, the me that's being transformed. That. And we talk about that with our teams all the time. Like, hey, you're going to minister to others, but you're going to be ministered to. It's your life that's going to be impacted by this, not just theirs. And so that's the second one. And then the last one is the one that needs to know Jesus.
Yeah.
So it was really cool the way she weaved the For the One all together, but built it on this foundation of before you start trying to fix yourself, before you start trying to fix somebody else, like recognize this is all because of God, for God, through God. He gets the glory at the start, the middle, the end. It's all about him.
Man.
Yeah.
That it's so much to say there, but it's a lot of meditation, a lot of self-reflecting. Because I even like how she pointed out the local mission, that the work that starts here, and even in yourself, where it's like, am I missing it in some areas? Like, am I doing things and it's not for Christ? Like it could be a great thing. Like, I want to be this great, I don't know, leader or singer or whatever. Like, is God pleased? So that hit me.
I think for me, I almost have to slow it down in my commentary of yesterday, because it was so layered. And that's why I think like Pastor Brent, you were saying about go listen to the message first, because it spoke on a lot of spiritual, it spoke on practical, it spoke on historical. And I think that the way that she set up things first, even asking people, one, what they thought missions were in the crowd. So a lot of people travel or serving, or like those different things that she mentioned. Again, they were good things, but her debunking of like, those are good works, but the mission is God. First is like a first like snap of, I don't know, even though we're saying it, I don't know if the mentality, because the mentality is, I hear the words, I hear the responsive words people say. So I know that what she was saying is not always lining up to what people are doing, even though they're doing good works, but mindset is very me based. And so it was that part. I know when it comes to trips, my first missions trip, I was a sophomore in college. I had never heard of mission trips. Like the church that I went to when I was a kid, it was in the inner city. And then I started going to a church in the suburbs, and it was a lot bigger. But again, we had the flags, not that many flags of all the nations, but we did not talk and share about missions trips. So going, the trips always have mainly white students that could go, or not could go, but that would go, that were knowledgeable about it, that maybe have been on one before, all these different things. So her first giving some history as an African-American woman, because you wouldn't know that. Most people didn't know who they were walking into on Sunday.
I did realize that, like, if people are just listening to the message and not seeing her, like, some of the things she said might have come across offensive if you think that this is a white lady talking to you.
But no, it was a black woman sharing historically of black people not being able to go on missions trips. So different things, the organization being birthed from that, which can give some clarity as to sometimes there is a barrier as to why African Americans and minorities may not always understand global missions. So first, let's bring some history there, and then also you're getting to see this woman who has laid down her life in these barriers since she was a teen, and seeing that. And so that we're going to talk more, but that was just
right now.
First of all, I forgot that I was on the podcast today, so I had to pray first. Like, Lord, I got a lot to say in my brain that I still am processing.
Yeah.
But what she said, I'm like, I hear our language. I hear Christians, American Christians, Western Christians, of what we say about missions. And like, man, and what I received, and my life is going to be changed. And like, and even me, you didn't have anything and you still had joy. That is great stuff. But I'm like, I don't know heart-wise, even in our best intention, if it's lining up to God being the mission and that being to share the gospel. Yeah. So.
No, I mean, we can stay there a little bit. I want to talk. You are someone who is not a stranger to going on mission trips. So you've been on how many mission trips so far? Oh, it's been a lot.
It's been several. Some have been repeats.
Okay.
So here at DC, I've gone to Kenya maybe 3 times. And then Cambodia, one time I went with Pastor Brent and our old XP. I've been to the Philippines and then a couple times in Zambia, but that was in college. So,
awesome. Do you feel like yesterday's message, so prior when you went, do you feel like it was a huge difference in like your new perspective since yesterday's message? I guess I'm trying to say, like, what is it, something that changed? Yeah.
I think that it confirmed language, as you're saying, the wrestle, honestly, that sometimes I've had with mission trips, short-term mission trips, is because sometimes people can get like, and I got to go and help these people kind of thing. And so then people can become addicted, in quotes, in case you're listening to this, addicted to missions, but you're not asking the questions of God, what are you telling for me to do next? Because at some point, I'm just going on trips. I'm doing something good. I get to lay hands on people. I get to feed kids, whatever, give medical needs and stuff. But like asking those deeper questions that if God has put something on the inside that he's requiring, like a next step, but not having the language, but feeling this tension that I think after the second time that I went to Cambodia, there was this wrestle. And when I came back and I was journaling, I'm like, God, you didn't speak to me in Cambodia. Like, God's going to speak. That's, maybe things that we say because God, you get to see a different facet of God, which I think is a great reason why people should get out of their comfort zone and go and preach the gospel to a different culture if they can. A lot of different cultures even here in the U.S. But I'm like, you didn't speak to me. And once I got home and I was journaling and I heard God very clearly say, this is your last trip. This is your last missions trip. And so I was like, okay. Because I believe that the action step of next, and I knew that from college, I felt this heart of stirring, but because I didn't know, I understood why God was like, that's enough. That's enough. And so I don't think, if it wasn't for getting the opportunity to lead trips to Kenya, one, asking God for permission, is this okay? Because I know what you said after Cambodia, but also getting an opportunity to kind of help guide people out of that me-centered space, because there are a lot of questions and things that you have to come back home with, and you could miss it. You could come in with your American thoughts and words that can be damaging, talking about how the Lord's had you prosper and I'm blessed, and to people who financially don't have, so that can send the wrong message. So you get to, as much as you can, kind of prepare people in a space that, like, we want to go do good and we don't want to leave people damaged. So the language I was like, this is speaking, it's convicting, it's explaining some things as to how sometimes some hurt people can experience when you don't understand that the mission is God and not to go and just help people. It was just again, I'm still processing a lot, but yes.
Active processing.
It's interesting. I saw there was a trend maybe 5-10 years ago of like people like bashing short-term missions trips. And it was a lot of like deconstructed Christians or even people that were still Christian, but they were like, y'all need to stop doing these short-term white savior trips. And it was like, okay, yeah, like definitely.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean stop all trips, but that was there was a bad thing happening. Yeah. And I think sometimes people have like a wrong expectation or a wrong view of what missions is all about, especially short term. And it's like, man, but when you do it the wrong way, it's bad.
Yeah.
But you do anything the wrong way and it's bad. So you don't just stop doing it. You figure out how to do it the right way. And so like one of the things I love about the foundation of this church is, we joke all the time that our founding pastor was a missionary trapped in a pastor's body. And so like he understood the missionary heart and mindset. He knew the struggles of a missionary. And so when he started first putting together short-term trips, like he was going in it with that understanding and that mindset. And so like we're there to help be a blessing to that team. But if we're just coming in and we're just going to do, something that just glorifies us or makes us feel good that we did it and then we leave, it's like, man, what was the point?
Yeah.
Like, but when you recognize like some of the places that we go, like there are Christians who are all alone. And having a team of people come in, it's so encouraging. It's like the number of times I've worked with one of our partners that literally looked me in the eyes and said, "Thank you so much for being here." It reminds me that God didn't forget about us.
Yeah.
Like sometimes just being here, it's like, man, God, what am I doing? And then a team comes in and it's like, God, you sent this group of people all the way from wherever they came from here to the work that you've had me doing for years. And it's encouraging. And so like, I think for people that are like, man, short-term trips do damage. Absolutely they can when they're done the wrong way.
Right.
When you're doing it in partnership with local organizations, local ministries, local missionaries, I think it can be extremely healthy and beneficial. And so I think that having said all that, like the motive, I think is what I love that Lily brought out is the motive. Like we even talk like, yes, God does stuff in us, and yes, giving that kid a warm meal is going to help him for today. Those are good things. But the number one motive, the starting point for our motivation should be God. That this is about glorifying Him. And like with your story, like you came back and you were upset because God didn't speak to you. It's like, oh, so the trip was about you.
Right.
Like I thought the trip was supposed to be about me.
Right.
And so like that's that shift that we need to have in our perspective of why we do missions, why we're going. And it's because of God, and it's in obedience to Him. He said to go.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah.
So just thinking about like just what God is doing in our church as Disciples Church now, like even with the name change and all of that happening this year, I feel like yesterday's message was a good perspective switch even for our minds to go and do mission. It was a paradigm shift where it was like it just aligned with your heart for Disciples Church. And I think even the language she used was like people who weren't getting it at first. It was like, oh, I need to go share the gospel of Jesus Christ, because that is what being a disciple really looks like and means. And
go and make disciples. Not go and dig water wells, not go and bring food, and not go and those things aren't bad. And that's what we have to be careful with. Like we don't want to make this sound so extreme that we neglect the good works that we're supposed to do as Christians. But the priority, the focus is it's God. It's the gospel. Like it's not rich people going to bless poor people. It is people that know Jesus going to tell people that don't know Jesus about Jesus.
And when you have that perspective of just people who have a lot of resources then going to help poor people, then you have the mindset that poor people can't come and reach you. And that's not also how the gospel works too. Like you can be very poor in spirit and someone be very rich in spirit who may not have the same financial resource.
Right.
But am I open to hear the gospel or be challenged on the gospel if that is the thing that we're like, say told, you know, to go do is go help just the poor, but also the poor in spirit as well.
It's funny. I heard a conversation happened yesterday that just cracks me up, because somebody went to Lily and said, "Do you think it's possible for somebody from Africa to be a missionary to the United States?" And I think Lily thought it was a joke at first, because like we literally have that at our church. Like Ni'i and Tayo are from Nigeria. They're part of a missions organization, and they're here in the U.S. to bring that missions aspect here. And so it's like, yes, that's possible. Let me introduce you to some African missionaries to the U.S. And literally, it like they introduced the.
Wow.
So
and so it's just like, yeah, like this is real. This is happening because it's not about prosperity. It's not about who has stuff. It's about who has Jesus.
Right.
Going to people that don't have Jesus.
Yeah, I just feel like now that we've been doing everything just as a culture in the United States, because I'm even thinking about, she talks about like that neighborhood perspective, because I mean, just to be completely transparent, sometimes when I think about like marketing and things like that, you're like, what can we do for people to bring them in? And it's like, I need to erase that board and be like, how can I show them Christ in some way, know, and make him known? And
how do I reach people that don't know Jesus?
Right. Like, how do I reach people that don't know Jesus? And so that is really shifting, like doing what it's supposed to do. So what are some practical things that we can take away from this message to encourage people? Like, let's pull out some application for those who are listening. And I'm going to leave that job to you guys.
Well, I think we could talk maybe for a while on this, or just skip over it completely because it's not pleasant, it's not fun. But the biggest application is die. Like that's what Scripture tells us. Like, die to yourself. It's not about you. Take up your cross daily. Like, that's not wear a pretty necklace that has a cross on it. Like, no, take up your cross. This is the instrument of your torture and your death. Like, that's what you're carrying. And so what that is that's symbolically saying, I'm laying down my life for this. I'm laying down my life for Jesus. And so, God, whatever you have me to do, I'm doing it out of obedience to you. And so sometimes, like, she joked a lot about, we have our own plan. Yeah. And we keep trying to like somehow get our plan and God's plan to work together. And instead, what we're supposed to do is actually just let go of our plan.
Right.
And what's really cool is, like, there's a lot of times when I've noticed in my own life, things that I had wanted in my plans showed up in God's plan.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I didn't have to make it happen.
Right.
It wasn't like, it wasn't my priority was, God, wherever you want me to go, whatever you want me to do. And it's like I had plans. I'm like everybody else, plans to get married and have kids. And God was like, no, go to Mexico. Like, all right, I'm going to Mexico. Just happened to find a wife there too. Right? But that's not why I went.
Yeah.
Like, it's the cool thing about that is how God works all things together. But it really requires us to sacrifice, to say, God, the most important thing in my life is you, not my plans, not my job, not my career path, not my 10-year goals. Like, all of that is not even secondary. It's you take up so much priority that those things just fade away. And so, like, the application is do that. Like, choose to sacrifice, choose to lay down your life, and just pursue what God wants you to pursue, which is him. Like, pursue him. And whatever he adds to your life, awesome. And if he never adds the thing that you've always wanted to your life, that's okay. Can you be okay with that?
Yeah.
That's good. I was even thinking, like, that dying element, that sacrifice. Do you feel like God have to ask you to do that, or is that something that you just should, as a disciple of Jesus Christ, just give? So, like, for example, missions. Do I need to wait for God to tell me to go on a missions trip and which one to go to, or do I just have the heart to just go and make disciples in all nations?
Yeah, I think you talk to him about it. And here's the thing. No one is exempt from going. However, the distance you go is dependent on what God wants for you. And so your going may be every Monday morning when you get on the train and you go downtown to work. Right? And now you are going to that place, and your mindset has to shift. And she even talked about this, like, your mindset shifts. Man, that's a dangerous set of words and letters. It needs to change, where now I'm not going downtown to this job because it's my career and it's not for my paycheck. This is my missionary field. Like, this is where I am sent to be a light for Jesus. So I'm going into that place looking for, okay, God, who do you want me to share the gospel with today?
Yeah.
Okay, which one of my coworkers do you want me to take out to lunch after so we can have a conversation? Who am I supposed to be praying for today? Yeah. And so it shifts how we look at life. And so do you have to ask God if you're supposed to go? No, he already told you to. Like, it's right there, Matthew 28:19. Go. Like, it's right there. So that's already an instruction for every disciple. The distance you're supposed to travel, it's going to be different for everybody. Is everybody supposed to go internationally? Probably not. Could it be beneficial to your life and your faith? Absolutely, 100%. As the pastor of Disciple Church, do I want everybody to go on at least one short-term trip? Absolutely, 100%. Just because I know what it did in my life. Like, even the first trip I went on, 12 years old, like the way it changed my perspective of the world, of Christianity, of faith, of God, of like everything changed for me on that trip. And I gave my life to Christ, got baptized, and spoke in tongues by the time I was 5-6 years old. I forget where it ranges. So it's like early on.
You were on fast track.
I was early on. But it wasn't until that first mission trip at 12 that some things started to click. Yeah. Like, some things started making bigger sense. And like that first trip, I don't know if I've shared this story on the podcast or not, but like, I had a similar moment to Lily when she talked about she was doing this birthday party and it was a big failure and all this stuff. But like, my first trip to Mexico, one of the days, it was like Book of Acts. We're having like house church in this guy's home. He invited us over, shared a meal, and then we just had church service in this guy's house. And there was a door, like the way a lot of the houses are in Mexico, there's like a door that just opens up to the street. Like, it's just, so like there's a big gathering area and then there's big opening to the street. Okay. And we're there, we're having a worship service, we're praying for family members to be healed. And like, it was just an awesome time. And it's just worship music going. And I saw a group of kids about my age that came up by the door, like walked by, kind of like doing that, like looking in, and then turned around and did it again, like walked by the door, kind of peeking in. I saw them do it like 2 or 3 times, and then they kind of like hovered by the door. And remember, 12-year-old Brent is a lot like 41-year-old Brent. Social anxiety, talking to people, all that scary stuff. However, I didn't have all the years of ministry experience to make that easier. So immediately I felt the Holy Spirit say, go and invite them to come in. And I was like, nope. Nope. And it was like, every time they walked by, it was like the Holy Spirit was like, go, I'm giving you another chance. Go. Wow. So like 4 or 5 times they're walking by. Finally, they're just standing there. And I kept saying no, and I kept saying no. And then finally, I just felt like if I said no one more time, God was going to be like, okay. And that scared me.
Right.
Like that thought of God's going to move on. And
right.
Like, and doesn't want to work with me anymore. Like, doesn't want to use. And so even at 12, I was fired. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. And so like I walked over. I didn't speak any Spanish at that point. I just walked over and like did my best like Pictionary like charades of like trying to invite them to come in and all this stuff.
Why do I see Bennett right now? Like, he's trying
just trying so hard. And literally like my worst fear as somebody that has like social anxiety, my worst fear is like looking dumb or looking stupid. And literally this group of kids about my age just look at me, laugh their heads off, and turn around and just run off. And like I went back into that dumb house, like feeling like
that was a dumb house.
That was a dumb house. This dumb worship service, and it's like, God, you made me go talk to them. You pestered me so many times, then made me feel like if I didn't do this, you were leaving me. And it was like, I don't want that to happen. So I did this in obedience.
Oh my God.
And they laugh at me and they run away. Like, it didn't even work. Like, why am I ever going to do this again? It was a waste of, and I was so mad at God. And thankfully, he couldn't talk to me in that moment because I wouldn't have heard him. But somebody from our team came over. I don't know if they saw everything that happened. I don't know if the Holy Spirit just gave them a prophetic word or what, but they just came over and they said something along the lines of, God just wants you to know that he sees your obedience, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was that was the light. At 12 years old, I had this light bulb moment of, so all I have to do is be obedient?
That's
like,
really...
I don't actually have to like be good at
Or
it.
Right.
I don't have to be successful.
You don't have to get
I don't have to
results.
say all the right things to get
That's so good.
Hey, it's good for us to learn better tactics and better ways to talk. I love apologetics and all this stuff because of that. I want to be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the effectiveness isn't the purpose.
Right.
It's just obedience. If he says go, then go.
Because what you could have done was, no, but I'll go do something else in serving for this trip.
Yeah.
And then that scripture about no obedience is better than you trying to give another sacrifice.
Yep. Yeah, no, I could have been I'm so busy worshiping right now. I'm praying, and
it's a good thing to
and there's a
worship.
member of my team that I could go pray for. And I'm going to lay hands on them, and I'm going to pray for them. And there's the kid in the family that was sick, and we're all here to pray for them to be healed. I'll go do that. I'm not going to do the talking to strangers thing.
Right.
But yeah, no, where's the obedience?
Yeah.
And so back to the whole, is everybody supposed to go? Yes, absolutely. Is everybody supposed to go on an international trip? I don't know that I have the confidence to say yes, everybody is, but I can say I want everyone to. Mm-hmm. But everybody is supposed to go somewhere.
Go ahead. You have any thoughts about
the practical?
Yeah.
So one thing, because it was a big message, I think that as disciples and as Disciples Church, we know that this is an ongoing life process. Mm-hmm. So when she talks about and was saying this about laying down your whole life, that is a big thing that Jesus has asked us to do, not expecting for tomorrow for it to happen. And so with that, the biggest thing that I think that people could relate to of when it says about God's heart about missions is that surrender. Yeah. And so as Pastor Brent was saying, is that dying and that total surrender. So having people come up at the altar team yesterday and someone, please pray for me because I just want to be totally surrendered to God and I want him to have his way in my life. And I was nervous about going on missions. And then when I thought about going on missions, it was actually for me and not necessarily for God. That is the start of something really great transforming. And when we prayed, Lord, let this process of transformation, that clearly is a sign because she desires this. This is going to be a process of denying, ourselves, but the desire, even the question she asked about then is my whole life surrendered then? And I had to look and be no, it's not fully surrendered. Yeah. So what practical things could I do in this daily surrender that needs to happen is, how do I get in my word? If I don't fully understand it, hey, we have life groups here. We have DC groups here. I'm already using our new stuff. But coming to church or just talking to some people here in community of I want to grow more in Christ and I don't know how to move forward in that. And so, but if you don't open your mouth, as we know, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so if you want to be fed, you're going to have to open your mouth to God. You're going to have to open your mouth to some people to say, this is an area of my life that is going to take some dying and it's going to take some confession. And it's going to take some more dying and it's going to take some celebrations. And there's going to be another level. And actually what's happening is discipleship and transformation is happening. Yeah. And the more you're doing it, you're seeing now my life is fully laid down. So when she was sharing, and it was her heart was just in this bliss of, even though her plans didn't, all the things she wanted initially in her plan, she was I am living she didn't say nightmare.
She said my worst fears.
My worst fear is that I'm living out what I didn't want. Mm-hmm. But she was but the so much of just the pleasure and joy of doing what God said. She's I wouldn't change anything. I would have just said yes sooner. Yep. Back to that total surrender. And so it's regardless of age, you know what I mean? The total surrender is that process of discipleship. And that doesn't mean you don't make on the way. When it comes, you don't continue to make disciples and share the good news of God, Jesus. But those are just Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback off of that, the way Luke describes it, which I'm really excited next year.
I knew you was looping in Luke.
I always got to bring back to Luke. That's what we're gonna have so much fun in Luke.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there forever. So the way Luke phrases it is, it's take up your cross daily, to follow me, and that's surrender. Like, surrender is not a moment. Like, I didn't surrender at 12. Like, sure, I did. But I also had to surrender the next day,
right?
And then the next day, and then the next day, and what I found in my own discipleship life is there are days where I'm better at surrender than others, and then there's even areas that I'm better. So, like, start with, like, if somebody's trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I just total surrender?
That's good. That was
like, that might be too big for you right now.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing you know God doesn't want you doing that you're still doing?
Right.
Pick the one thing and say, I'm going to surrender this thing. And whatever that looks like, whatever that is, like, start with surrendering that thing to Him today. And then wake up tomorrow, and before you do anything else, surrender that same thing again. And do that again and again and again and again. And discipleship, it's a lifelong process. And so what's really neat in my life, is walking this journey, is like, there are things that I've surrendered and then picked back up and had to resurrender. There's some things that I thought I had surrendered, and then something happens and it's like, oh, I had like surrendered like 90% of it, and as long as the other 10% didn't show up, it looked good.
Right.
But then that 10% popped in, and it was like, oh yeah, I never really surrendered that part.
And that part sucks.
Yep.
When you really think, yeah, I've got it figured out, and then God like exposes. Like,
oh yeah.
I just keep feeling it's just too much for me. Okay, I'm over here going through myself, just thinking about, like.
Sorry, we are too. That's good.
You guys are like, y'all haven't figured out.
No, not at all. Like, I'm taking pauses because I could cry.
I feel like crying right now, but I'm trying to hold it together for this interview, only because, like, again, I think it was just the gut punch we needed to get back into alignment with what is important, what is necessary. And I can just start with me. Like, I can be consumed with Taisha, what my plans are, what my agenda is. And then you look up and you be like, I've strayed so far away from that obedience piece, and you don't even realize it because you're doing good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're seeing results.
And you're seeing results.
And you're making all the sacrifices.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's I pray that the way that it's impacting us, that is something that is impacting those who attended and those who are even listening or go listen to that message, because I feel like it's not a coincidence that yesterday happened and we're about to go into a new year as a church, and this will be our first full year as Disciple Church, and then 2026 is like second year, and it kind of aligns again with your vision. So you are in tune with God, and
that's good to know.
It's good to know we're following someone who's in tune. Because even like where you were sharing in Staff Chapel about, like, we were kind of building that plane in the air, and even your vision for next year to bring in the people. Like, I think God wanted our heart to be in the right place. Like, we're bringing in the lost. Like, that's our objective.
Right.
Everything we do from this point forward is to reach the lost. Like, that is what making disciples is. That is what being one, make one really is. And I think it was just a great, like, tie in to what God is doing here. So I'm really excited for our church. You want to share why you getting really emotional?
No, I was just saying, when you said I'm really excited, I was smiling.
Yeah. I was really excited.
It's messy.
It's not going to be pretty.
It's messy,
it is.
And so that's one thing that also gets questioned, because or a thing that we have to prepare our hearts for, is that we're in, a middle class suburb. You know what I mean? You got some really high professionals that go here. You have some people that are just trying to make it, all of this mix. And so if you don't begin to prepare your heart of what the mission is, and not that is gonna, I feel like the more people hear that and see that, even as we're seeing this growth as Disciples Church, then it's gonna look different. And are you okay with what unreached look like because unreached could also look like someone that is a suit. So don't neglect them just because they have on the suit. It may look like they have it all together. And that could also look like someone that is like off the street. And so that kind of preparing your heart for it. If we ask for the unreached and we start doing that, and we're not even a community church, you know what I mean? So we're going to get people from all different places, and being able to prepare our hearts of like what God's mission is, and what discipling is going to look like for us in 2026 and beyond. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty mess.
Pretty mess. I'm here for it. You here for it, Pastor Brent?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm excited. I think that this reminder on Sunday that God's first, it's one of those things that we say it all the time. I mean, that was the core value of the internship I was a part of. And we've carried that in to everything we do. But sometimes you need somebody coming through to just remind you of that.
Yes.
And to just say it in a fresh way that goes, okay, have I gotten off mission? Have I gotten off track in any area of my life?
Yes.
And so I think Sunday was not just a missions message. It was just a life message of, are you fully surrendered to God? Is He priority? Or are you still trying to have, your life sprinkling in His plans where they fit? Or have you truly said, you know what, my life is going to be lost, but I'm going to find a new life in you? Because that's what we're instructed to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this was a really great series. So instead of just having us recap as we land this plane, just from yesterday, maybe from the entire missions, and I know you weren't here because you were doing missions
in Nairobi, Kenya.
Whatever you could give your closing remarks that we want to leave with those watching, to encourage them and inspire them to really join in that mission of going to missions, or however that looks. So we can go with you first, Pastor Brent.
Yeah, I think I still love just the way she articulated the shifting of the perspective of what missions is about.
Yeah.
It's not about going to poor people in poor places, but it's about going to people that don't know Jesus. And when you have that understanding of missions, now all of a sudden going to work looks different.
Yes.
Going to school looks different. Going cross country looks different, and going into other nations looks different. Like, so with that mentality, like when you go on the Japan trip, like what does that look like? When you go on the Philippines trip, what does that look like? When you go with her to the UK, what does that look like? So like we've got a lot of different trips that are available for people, and I want us to make sure that we keep God and the gospel as the priority.
That's good.
That was my.
That's good.
I'm struggling of what else to say. Of
that's a takeaway for those.
Takeaway. I think that if I was to have a takeaway for people from this series, and something you mentioned about it is a not just series, but about the life thing. I would say that, and this is tying into the song that we sang, one of the songs, More Than Able. In the end of the song, it was saying, He's not done with me yet. And so the song says so many things, but after listening, I listened to Lily in the first service, then we sang the next service, we had 3 more services. And so I think that you can exclude yourself from these type of things of like big calls, or like this is important for some people and not me, is that if you're here on this earth, then God has something for you to do. So that word of encouragement is, yes, God has called you to do something. Yes, He wants you to surrender. Yes, He has a plan for you. And so He's not done. Be encouraged. It's not just for the elite or the super spiritual when it comes to sharing the gospel, but it's for everybody. It's for you.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, you guys did so good. I don't really need to do.
No, you can't get out of that. I don't know why you try that every week. I mean, how many shows have we done at this point?
I think I should be excluded from them. But I think what came to mind is if you have been a part of, our in service church sermons, if you were able to join us online, in person, or even just follow us on Between Sermons, I think that God is a very intentional God, and nothing happens that he is not fully aware of. And so I feel like he's speaking very clearly, and he wants our hearts to be aligned back to his, which is him first, and then making sure we do live a life that's surrendered to God, and that we do understand that it's about the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's about reaching the lost. And so everything we do, whatever opportunities we have, really seek God for that, and know that he will be with you. He's faithful. And if you have a desire to join us on one of our mission trips, I think that's a beautiful desire, and I think God is calling you to that, and I think you should listen, because he will provide for you. And so I just pray for you. If you're watching and you feel that pull, or if you're just in a space where you was like, I don't really know what surrender looks like, I pray that you will have an encounter with God, that maybe something you heard in one of the messages, reignite that fire. But I just pray that God is with you on this journey. And so, that's my takeaway.
Good job, Taisha.
It was great.
Praise the Lord. I'm always over.
I appreciate your obedience.
I mean, I was over here repenting, like, God, I didn't do this. It was so many things I felt, and it was like little silly things, and I'm like, I still should have did it. But anyway, so this has been a great conversation on missions. Next week, we are starting a whole new sermon series. Are you excited for that?
I am. So we're doing Christian Atheists. Actually, I
read
gotta
say that more lively.
This is the creative tool. We need you to really.
I was trying to say, like, it's a book that actually, it really affected me when it first came out, like, over a decade ago. And it actually, it is part of the foundation of the shift to Disciples Church. It's this concept of sometimes we say we're Christian, but we don't really live like it. And that's why it was our shift to Disciples Church. It was built out of that. The word Christian only shows up 3 times in the Bible. It's a derogatory term, all but one that still has the derogatory aspect of it, where Peter's like, celebrate the fact that they're calling you Christian. They're making fun of you, but rejoice in it because they're identifying you with Christ. So it's still a negative, but Peter's trying to turn it into a positive. But what we see, I think it's like 260 times, 270 times, is the word disciple. And so we made this shift partly inspired by the book I read in 2010, 2011, whenever it first came out, by Craig Rochelle. And so they've got a sermon series on it. There's a book. You could buy the book on it. Our take is always going to be a little bit different. We try not to just regurgitate other people's stuff. And so, but we're going to be focusing on what does it look like, or what does it mean to claim to be a Christian but not actually live like it. And so that's what we're going to focus on for the next 3 weeks. Be good. I'm excited for it. I am.
I'm going to have him do a real video. Don't worry about it towards the end of the week. But yes, we are excited. So make sure to join us in person or online. It's going to be an amazing sermon series. We are very excited. Man, the year is coming to an end. Can you believe it? It is November. Well,
yeah, we got 3 weeks of this series. Then we got 3 weeks of our next series, which is Red Flags.
Yes.
Talking about relationships. And then it's Christmas, and then a New Year's message, and then we're done. 2025 is over. It's what, 8 weeks?
Going so fast. Okay. Well, buckle up. But until we meet again, we love you here at Disciples Church, and we will see you next week.